Okay, good. So as I told you, email me, not here, not ping me. If the reason, right? Because I cannot right now. I cannot access that. I need to copy and paste it and put it somewhere. So email me. Okay. My email ID is manu@itamerica.com. So just wanted to make sure email me, not ping me here. Okay. So just don't ping it here because I need to copy that and paste it somewhere else. So just wanted to be clear on that. Okay. Okay. So let's I'm not sure I will remember it, but since you've already done that, just make sure you guys email it, okay? Because here I need to put it somewhere else. So it's it's email. As I told you, don't pin in the chat, okay? So just wanted to make sure. Okay, so let's go to this. So I guess some people were not there yesterday's class, okay? Yes, whoever, again, I told you, right, we didn't get the recordings for yesterday or any material for, who were not present yesterday, that's okay. Send me your email ID, through email. Don't ping it here, don't ping on the chat because I need to write it down somewhere else and I need to put it. And, and I'm actually recording this, so, I don't want to be, put in that. So, just make sure you email it, okay? Email your email ID that you're not getting recordings or you're not getting, material at my email ID, manu@itamerica.com, okay? It's manu@itamerica.com, okay? So that I'll forward you all the material and yeah, any homeworks too. If you have missed any homeworks, I'll be also emailing your homeworks. Okay, so let's go to this slide pretty quick. So today we talked about various types of testing. Today we'll continue this, and we'll go to web application testing. Okay, so acceptance testing. Okay, so what is an acceptance testing? Acceptance testing is actually a general form. Okay, more specific to this is UAT, user acceptance testing. Okay, in this, what you do exactly in acceptance testing is you want to test. Okay, so you get a requirements from the customers. So actually, what happens right here, the customer actually sends a requirement, not exactly requirement, sends some request, some feature or some defect or something, customer actually. So, what they do is they take up to the business and, business verifies it, see if it's a valid scenario, valid feature or valid request. Then once they, it gets approved, now they start testing on that. So that's called acceptance testing, okay? So here, what is it? This type of testing is called, it means the customer specified requirements. So as I told you, right? Don't worry about it. Okay. So if there is yeah, of course. If we, if you require, you can check with your respective manager. Okay, that you're not able to hear it, properly. Check with them. Okay. either way, don't worry about it, okay? Because I'll be sending you good quality video once, as I told you, like, I'll be sending a better, better quality. You can go ahead and view that one, okay? So that should be good. But yeah, for time being, if you have a problem, check with your respective HR manager, okay? Respective manager, okay? So, they will see, okay? Okay, so that's okay. So somebody asked, right? Why do we need acceptance testing? Okay, so this is like UAT. Okay, this is similar to UAT. What is UAT? User acceptance testing. Okay, once your testing is done, there is one more team called UAT team. Okay, user acceptance testing, where they will verify the requirements. Okay, is it done? Is it, what's happening to it? Because they have their own way of testing. Okay, they don't do like, although they have similar business requirement, they have other functionalities, other features. Okay, so that's what they do, this acceptance testing. That's why it's required. See, the reason all these testings are required, because there is a, they have to concentrate in each and every functionality, each and every module of the testing part. Okay, so that's why they, use this acceptance testing. Otherwise, functional testing is not enough, because you need to go a lot of process. You need to go a complete process to make sure the application is good. You want to make it good, right? Because one application consists of so many things. It contains ETL part, it contains Java part, it contains a lot of things it contains. Okay, so you want to make sure it has done. So that's the reason you need this acceptance testing. Okay, it's one of the part in the application testing. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, so let's go to the next topic. Load testing. Okay, so before going to the load testing, we'll just go to performance testing. Okay, so performance testing. So this performance testing is classified into two types. One is load testing, the other is stress testing. Okay, in the load testing, okay, so before going to here, right, let's see why do we require this. Okay, so why do we actually need this? Okay, let's take an example here, right? Let's go to Amazon.com. Now, I want to verify this application performance is good, right? Now to verify that, you cannot verify just like that, right? Looking at it, you need a tool. Okay, you need a tool. Let's see here. So I'm using this Amazon.com. Okay. Now I'm just trying to access this URL. Okay, I'm not clicking any buttons here. Okay, a lot of buttons, lot of images here. I'm not doing anything. I'm just clicking Amazon.com. Now, I'm a single guy, I'm just using this. But there are like multiple people, because it's Amazon.com, right? There are millions of people who will be using this URL at once, right? Not just 1, 2 people, like, millions of people, because this is whole world, right? Whole world can access this. So not 1, 2, 3 guys. Okay, so now let's see. If I'm going to access this, now what happens, right? Whenever you try to access this URL, it goes, it goes to a server, Amazon server. It queries that particular database, and that database pulls up the result and shows it on your screen. So you can able to see the screen because it is there in the server, right? So, whoever is not able to hear properly, as I told you, please check with your, respective manager. Okay, please. Okay, let me, right. Let me just bring it down. Okay, so whoever is not able to hear properly, please check with your respective manager. Okay, if you're maybe some people guys are far or maybe you can call them, or email them, or you can do that, or if you can visit, that's good. You can go ahead and visit them, and talk to them. Okay. So now, so once you access this URL, right, it goes to a particular server. Okay, it goes to Amazon server. It accesses this. So let's say 50 people are accessing this. Okay, and the server capacity to handle that request is 50. Okay, so it's good. Okay. Now, let's say 100 people are accessing this URL. Now I'm talking only about accessing this URL. That means I'm just using this URL and putting into my browser and just hitting enter. That's it I'm doing. I'm not clicking any buttons here. I'm not doing anything here. Okay. So now server capacity is only 50 users. Only 50 users can access this at one point of time. Okay. Now suddenly 100 people logged in at the same time. The same point of time. 100 people logged in. Can anyone tell me what happens when 100 people log into that same time when the server capacity is only 50? Right. The application will get crashed, right? It get crashed, and if more people are trying to log in, right? Exactly. The application doesn't respond. But it doesn't respond, and if more people are logging into the same time, okay, what happens? Right, the server gets blown up. Because see, whenever you're trying to use this, that means it's whenever you are trying to use this URL, it's accessing the particular part in the server. That means it is consuming some resources. It consumes some memory. It consumes the processor. It consumes a lot of things happen when you use this. Okay, thus being accessing this URL doesn't mean it's from nowhere. It accesses that particular database, pulls up the record, whatever there in the database. It might be images. It might be data. It might be anything. Pulls up all things and shows up in a web page. Okay, so there's no magic here. They're just putting into particular database, and that database is showing up here. Okay, so it's actually querying that particular database automatically. When you use this, that means you're querying the database. So production database. Okay, so that's what it happens. So it gets if you stress on more, the server gets blown, because that's not meant to access 100 people at once. Okay, so that's why you need this load testing. Okay, now let's say now we have two servers. Okay, so we have two servers, server 1 and server 2. Okay, now there is something called load balancer. Okay, so there is a load balancer. And whenever you are using this URL, let's say 100 people are logging this time too. 100 people are logging into that server. Okay, that's Amazon.com. Now, since the server capability is only 50, okay. Now, what does this load balancer does is, whenever the 100 people are logging into it, it takes out the 50 users and puts into another server. Right. So that's how the job of a load balancer. Okay, load balancer can be a software, can be a hardware too. Okay, so it balances the load. So it knows that server cannot handle more than 50, so it takes out the load there and put. But still people can access. There is no interpretation. There is no interruption in the access of the website. Okay. So that's how you can increase number of servers and use the load balancer. If there's more load, put the load into another server, and you can use this. Okay, so that's how you can use this. Okay, so now let's get back to our. So just the point is here. What the point is, whatever you're trying to do here is actually you're trying to query the database. Of course, you're not writing here any SQL here. As a customer, as a user, you're a user, right? Let's say you're an Amazon user. You're not writing any SQL query here, right? Are you? No. You are just clicking this button. But when you click on this button, right? Now, look at this. The URL got changed. That means this. When you click that button, that automatically queries the database. Okay, database, you know, whatever there in the server, when it queries whatever the data into that database, the picture, you know, whatever the images, whatever the URL is, all shows up here. Okay, so that's what it happens at the back end. Okay, because it has to, all these things should be stored somewhere, right? Because it cannot show up from nowhere. It has to be stored in particular place. Where does it stores? It stores in a database. Okay, so that's how it happens. Okay, actually this is automatic. Whenever you click on something, it gets the query, SQL query or whatever SQL they are using. Okay, whatever it's, if they are using Oracle database, it gets Oracle, or if it is MySQL, then it's it gets automatically, you know, queried. You don't have, nobody is actually typing their select star from, okay, nobody is doing that. It just queries and shows up in the web page. Okay, so that's what it happens here. So let's go back to here, our performance testing. Okay, so here, you know, performance testing is classified into two types, that is load testing and stress testing. Okay, so let's go to here, load testing. So what is exactly the load? So, you know, you want to test an application under heavy load, as I told you, right? There are 100 people who are logging. So now we are not talking about this 200 people. There will be 1,000 people, okay? And 10,000, 20,000 people who are logging at the same time. And you want to see the performance of that application, okay? So here various things are checked, not just an application. You want to see how the server is responding. You want to see the throughput. You know, how much the memory is being used, now what operating system is used, how much CPU RAM is utilized. All those things you will be, you know, verifying, not just one or two. Load testing means just load testing. No, you are doing a lot of things there. Okay, performance, you are also throughput, you know, your memory usage, CPU, you know, CPU RAM, you're using operating system, so you know what kind of operating system, all those things you will be viewing it. So these are plotted in the graph, in the form of graph. So you know, they want to see once the load is applied to this, how the application is responding, you know, what is the memory usage it is taking, what is the performance of the CPU is being utilized. So all these things are plotted. Okay, that's what it's done in the load testing. Okay, so not load testing doesn't mean just load. Okay, so okay, you are doing the load, but parallelly you need to also work in all these graphs too, because you need to view this graph and you need to you know, document this graph and, you know, report it to your boss or to your lead. Okay, so that's what you do in this load testing. Okay, so you'll be testing under heavy loads. Okay, so just like, you know, and plot the graphs. Okay, so that you'll be doing the load testing. Let's go to the next, stress testing. So here what you do is, here you're not even just using the load but also stress. So you know, so as I told you, load is like, you know, you're just putting this URL into the browser, amazon.com. Here, not just putting that load but also using this. Let's say I'm clicking on this button, okay, of what's happening, and simultaneously 1,000 people, 10,000 people are doing the same thing. What happens? So that's stress, because you're also querying the database and you're making server to work more. Okay, so the processor runs more faster, you know, 1,000 people faster, you know, 10,000 people. Now what happens? So you want to see that once the stress is put in this, you know, system, how the application responds. Okay, so here is beyond the specifications to see how, so you are actually trying to identify the bottleneck of an application. In the stress testing, you are trying to identify the bottleneck of an application. So by doing what? By putting heavy load. Okay, like large number of SQL queries, complex database queries, continuous input system, or database load. SQL queries in sense, not just typing select star, that doesn't mean that. SQL query in sense, whenever you're trying to click this button, it's automatically, getting queried in a production database, and that database, queries, internally queries it and shows up the data here. So that's why you're able to see, right? How can you be able to see? Because it's querying that database. Okay, so that's what it happens at the back end. So again, we will be plotting a lot of graphs. You want to see throughput, you want to see the CPU usage, you want to see the RAM, the utilization of RAM, you want to see the memory, how much memory, and you want to see what operating systems, you want to check all those, right? To make sure you're doing it right. Okay, so that's the stress testing. Okay, any questions on load and stress testing? So in the load testing, what you're trying to do is you want to see the performance of the system by putting heavy loads. Okay, and in the stress testing, you want to identify the bottleneck of an application by not only just putting load but also performing complex SQL queries, complex database queries, continuous input to the system, so on. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Keep quick. So what is usability testing? So let's go to the next one. So this is user friendliness check. Okay, you want to make sure that application, web application is user friendly or not. Okay, so that's what you want to see in the usability testing. So let's pretty much let's quickly check here. So what is the usability testing? Okay, now I'm a customer. Okay, let's say I'm a customer of Amazon. Okay, now I want to buy something, right? I want to buy here, so now since I'm an Amazon customer, I want to sign in, right? Okay, now I want to sign in. So that, let's say sign in button. So okay, so sign in button is right here in front of my face. That's good. That's what I want. Now let's say the sign in button is not here, and just put in some footer of this page. Let's say corner of the page here, sharp down. Okay, let's put it there. Now what happens? Now that's not a user friendly. Why? Because as a customer, I want to sign in. How would I know that sign in button is at the bottom of the page? That's not good. Because as a customer, I need to see that button right in front of my face, right? Because I want to buy something and I want to sign it. So that's why it's here. It's not, in insignificant place like somewhere in the footer, but it should be right in front of the face. Okay, yeah, it's good. Sign in button is here. Okay, because if customer is not able to find it, now it says, hey, this is not good. I want to sign in. I want to log in. It's not able to happen. I'll go to different sites. I don't like this. So business will lose. Okay, there's a, that affects business. So you don't want to happen that, right? So that's the reason you do this usability testing. So what you're trying to do here, user friendliness. So you want to see the user friendly of the application. Okay. So what you're trying to do is your whole application is tested, flow is tested, and want to make sure new user is able to understand the application easily. Because I'm a new user, let's say I'm a new user, and I want to buy something, and I want everything should be in front of my application, but I don't want something here which is there somewhere which I don't even know that it's there. Okay, so that's not good because business will lose. Okay, any questions in usability testing? Okay, so let's go to the next topic, install and uninstall testing. Okay, so in this, what you do, so this is more particular on the client application. So far we discussed about this web application. So these are the web application, right? So again, let's go back, people who have not attended yesterday's class. So web application is something which is done on the web browser. So whenever you use a browser, so that's called web application. And what is client application? Which is something which is installed in your system, which you are using from your system. Okay. just like you go to the control panel and install, one app. So that is called client application. Okay, so that's what it means. Okay, install and uninstall testing is something which you have installed in your system and you want to test it. That's called install and uninstall testing. Okay. So you want to see here various things. So, because whenever you install an application, there are a lot of things happen. Registry keys gets updated. DLL files are, there are DLL files that are generated, and a lot of things happen. A lot of applications get created. A lot of file formats are created. So you want to test all this based on what requirements. Okay, you don't go there like just like that. You need to check the requirements. What does the requirement say? And what you are trying to do. Okay, so that's what you need to concentrate on. So that's what install and uninstall testing. Okay, let's go to the next one. So recovery testing. Okay, so here what you do is testing how well an application recovers. So let's say if there's a crash in application, how it recovers. Okay, and to test that, call as recovery testing. Okay, just not just crash, but also hardware failures and other catastrophic problems. Okay, so that's recovery testing. Let's go to the next topic. Security testing. Okay, so here what you do is you want to test an application, how secure it is not. Okay, so let's take in here an example. Let's go to google.com. So now here, google.com uses HTTPS. Okay, that means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Okay, HTTP is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. S means secure. Okay, that means Hypertext Transfer Protocol secure. So what happens in this, right? It's not just S. Just putting S and HTTP. It's not just S. So what happens, right? When you're using HTTP, that means there is a whatever you're trying to do online, it encrypts. Whatever the data you're entering, it encrypts the data, and it uses algorithm to encrypt that, and it can only be decrypted once it goes to the particular server, Google server, and there you can, identify the data, what's exactly the data is. Okay, so why do we need this? So somebody, if somebody's trying to hack your information, okay, so let's say credit card information, when you are trying to do online, you want to make sure it's HTTPS, not HTTP. Then I would not, do any transaction based on HTTP, because I know it's not secure, because the encryption, my credit card information is not encrypted, and anyone can store, anyone can steal my address, my credit card information, and anyone can use. So that's the reason, right? You need this HTTP. To test this is called security testing. Okay. So here, this has, this uses an algorithm. Okay, so you have the certificate which is installed in the server, and once whatever you're trying to do. So even if you if somebody hacks the information, they don't know what is that, and they don't know what the algorithm they have used to decrypt the data. So that's the reason your data is secure. So that's called security testing. Okay. So what it does, testing how well the system protects against unauthorized or external access. Okay, so that's just an example. Okay, so I'll just give you an example, but it doesn't have to be that. There are many security testing, a lot of security testing you do. That's HTTPS is one of the examples for that. Okay, so let's go to the next topic. Compatibility testing. So here you want to see the compatible, let's say there is an application. Let's say, you use Chrome. Let's say you're using some browser. Okay, so Chrome browser or Firefox browser. Okay, now now you want to test that. Is it compatible with Windows? Is it compatible with Linux? Is it compatible with Mac? Is it compatible with the Unix? All those things. So that's what you do. Okay, so that's called compatibility testing. Okay, just one thing, is it compatible in all of these operating systems? Okay, all the environments. That's called compatible testing. Okay, so you have one more, like comparison testing. Okay, you want to compare the strength and weakness. Okay, whatever the application, whatever the application is there, you want to compare its strength and weakness. It's called comparison testing. Okay, let's go to the next one, alpha testing. Okay, so here, what happens in this alpha testing, right? Now, developer actually, develops an application, right? Once the developer has developed an application, so before moving that code, whatever the coding they have done, right? So as I told you, just I'll be giving you some review over here. So as I told you yesterday's class, we have 3 environments: dev environment, test environment, production environment, right? So now before moving that developer has developed some code, and that code, before moving into test environment, they do this alpha testing. Okay, so that they want to make sure that the code is good and it's working, the application is working as per the requirement. Okay, so this is mostly done by the developers in some companies, but also anyone who is working on the project can do this alpha testing. Okay, because this is in-house virtual user environment, because anyone who is working on the project, it might be business analyst, it might be tester, it might be project manager, it might be a manager. Okay, manager doesn't do this work. It can be architect guy, whoever is working on the project can do the alpha testing. Okay, mostly the development guys will be doing this. Okay, not always testers. Okay, not necessarily testers. It's mostly development. Okay, so let's go to the next topic. Beta testing. So what happens, right? Once it's let's say the code is done, the code is moved from production. From dev environment to test environment, and from test environment to production environment. Now what these guys do, right? I mean, it's okay. So they don't want to trust, anyone, developers, testers, anyone. Now, what they do is they prepare some, demo version of that application and tells the user. Now they release to the whole world. Okay, they release to the whole world and say, and tell them to start testing on it. So that's called beta testing. Okay. So this is done by the end users, whoever is, end users are who? They are customers. They are the customers, the users, whoever will be, working on. So once, they find some defects, customers find some defects, they report it to the, in the feedback form, they report it. Okay, so this is the screenshot, this is the bug, this is what I was trying to do, this is all features. And once they fix it, it again goes to the particular version and they fix into that version and they release the new product. So that's called beta testing. So beta testing is done by the users. Normally it's done by the users, that's customers. Okay. So that's it about all these testings. Does anyone have any questions in any of this? Okay, so even if you have any questions, okay, you can email me, right? You can email me or you can call me. Here. Okay, it's 732-333-4781. Okay, and mostly just try to email me if if you get so that whenever I get time I can call you, or you can give me your phone so that I can call you, and if you didn't understand anything, we can go ahead and talk about that. Okay. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Okay, so now, let's say you got into the project, right? Okay. Now you've gone to the project, and you've got a lot of documents to read, and they give you documents, BRD documents, or all the documents are good. Now, let's say one day is over. You have just you're done with the day. One day, next day, what they tell you, why don't you start some testing? Okay. So your lead will say, no, why don't you start some testing, right? Now somehow you figure it out. This is the application to test. You check with the colleague. Check with your lead, saying, okay, so this is an application that we need to test. Somehow you figure it out. Online by the SharePoint. Either by SharePoint, you downloaded some documents. You viewed that. You figure it out what the job is. Okay. Now you start testing it. No, you don't say. Now that's not if you are going to ask your lead that what I need to test. That's not a valid question. Okay, so that's not good. Now you're not going to ask your lead saying that what I need to test, because once you're given an application, you're supposed to do, because you know what you're supposed to do, because you're an experienced guy, right? You need to know all this. Okay, so what you need to ask is, what are all the various types of testing are we doing? Are we doing everything like functional testing? Are we doing the performance testing? Are we also doing system testing or integration testing? Are we doing all of this, or only we are working on only one specific module? That's the thing you need to ask, okay? Because you want to know what's happening, okay? So let's say, they have given you this website. This is an application, web application, where you want to test. Now, okay, now let's say, now let's you got this. You just click on this button. Now you figure out, okay, now this is a retail thing. You need to buy stuff. Okay, good. You know what? Let's buy something. You're testing here. Okay. So you want just place this, order something. Place an order. Okay, good. Looks good. Proceed with order. I'll just fill up this application. Okay. And I'll just put this American Express credit card. Expiration 12/17. Good. I want to click as same as billing address. Now billing address is same as shipping address, so no big deal. And place an order. Okay, now I just placed an order. Okay, I just placed an order, but did anyone find any defects here? Did someone able to find a defect? No. Now I know what I did. Okay, so I know what I did, but I'm still able to find defects in this flow. But here you are not able to find any defects. Did anyone find any defects so far? You just placed an order, just 10 quantities, and that's it. And that charged me of $3,154.90, including the shipping. That's good. Now you were not able to find any defects, right? Because you were not concentrating on what we were actually doing. Okay, you just went one positive scenario. That's it. Just put some number there, and just order something. Just put that card, and that's it. You didn't do anything there. Okay, so you actually, that is not ideal. I mean, that is an ideal scenario. That's what you think whenever customer is trying to order something, right? But that's not the real scenario. I mean, that's not really happens. What happens? Okay, so let's see what we're supposed to do. Let's click on this. Let me show you one defect. Okay, and I'll be giving you homework on this. Make sure you guys complete this homework. Okay, by tomorrow. Tomorrow is what? Okay, Friday. Okay, good. So tomorrow, make sure you guys complete this homework. I'm concentrating on more on homework, so that's what makes you to think what you're trying to do. Okay, now let me show you one defect. Okay, let me order this. So now I'm trying to order in large quantities. Why I'm doing this? Because I'm a tester, right? I can do this. I'm a tester. I'm not a customer. I'm not ordering this. I'm a tester, right? So I can test this. So this is my job. Okay, testing is my job, so I'll be testing this. Okay, now I'm going to place an order. So these many quantities. Okay. So now can anyone tell me what's the defect here? So there is a defect here in the page, right in front of your page. There is a defect. Can anyone tell me what's the defect here is? Anyone? Okay. No. No. So somebody answer. No. So I'm not asking to, not limiting the quantity. That's what I'm testing, right? I don't want to limit any quantity. Because I'm testing here, I want to test this. So I can use whatever the possible scenario to make sure the application is broken. I will show my boss saying this, no, this application is broken. Look at this. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to, I'll be showing to my boss. But I don't want to limit any quantities. Why do I? Because there might be people who will be buying this, right? This quantity, yes. There might be corporations who will be, buying this large quantities. So don't think that's, individual, right? I'm individual, I don't require all this quantity, that's fine. But we are not working on individual or something. We are testing this application. So when you're testing this, you want to test every possible scenario to make sure the application is broken, right? So that's what you pay, that's what you get paid for. Okay. Now, that's right. The people who said shipping and handling is $5. So that's good. Why? Because here's my question. Does really USPS, let's say, even they send it to USPS, not by any other shipping, let's say, they send it by any other, that's fine. But you really think after ordering these many quantities, USPS will charge just $5 for this whole quantity? No, right? Now, okay, the company might, so since you're ordering some large quantities, since it's more than $100, $200, and so they will waive off your shipping and they'll say, okay, it's free. Okay, that's a different story. But, right, no, we're not talking about that. But that's right, that's what I'm saying. Like, the company might say that, okay, since you're ordering this many, since it's reached $100, $200, we are paying free. That's a different story. That's fine. So we're not talking about that. What we're trying to say here, the application has an issue. What's the issue? Shipping and handling is showing us $5. So that's an issue. Okay. So that's a defect. Now I'll see that this is a defect. Okay. Now, why you are adding these quantities? No, that's not even a question, because I'm a tester. I want to see every possible scenario to make sure there is a defect in an application. Why? Because that's what your job is, right? That's what you get paid for. So here's the thing, right? Whenever you open many issues, many defects, you're good. Because as a tester, you want to make, you want to open more issues, more defects, so that your job is good. You want to make sure your job is good. That's the reason you need to. The more issues are okay. I'm not saying like you need to always open issues, but you have to make sure you're opening right. You're doing it right. Okay. Okay, so yes, this is an issue. That's a very good question. Somebody asked, right? Okay, how do we know that that shipping and handling is $5? So when you don't know, you need to check in the requirement document. Okay, how does that show in the requirement? So what does the requirement say? What it's supposed to, what it's supposed to be in the. Okay, what is supposed to be in the application. Now that's a most possible scenario that you may not always find that information in the requirement document. Then you need to check with lead. Now lead may not always know this. Of course, you need to check with the lead. later you need to check with the business analyst, because whole the system is designed by the business analyst. Okay, not really business analyst. This is done by architect guy, but what thing is, they give the information how it's supposed to be behave. Okay, so you need to check first with your lead, then with the developer. If developer doesn't, need to talk with the business analyst. Okay, so that's how you need to do, because this will be there in the requirement document. If it's not there, you need to talk. Talk to whom? Talk to lead. If you're good with the lead, mostly lead will be good with you. Okay, lead, or else go with the developer. No, talk with the developer. If you have good rapport, check with the developer or check with the business analyst. If you business analyst knows you, go ahead and check with them. Okay, so that's how. Okay. So somebody asked, right? I'm not sure what exactly the question is. But here, what we are trying to do here is functional testing. What we are trying to do here is functional testing. Okay, so that's what we are trying to do here. Okay, so that is one defect, right? We just we have just found one defect, but not just that. Let's see here. Okay, that's good. Now, remember one thing, when you're trying to test here, you need to have these three scenarios. What are the three scenarios? Positive testing, negative testing, and boundary values. Okay, three scenarios always should be followed. So what we did now was, technically it was a positive testing. Okay, so why positive testing? Let's see here. What is this? This is a box. Okay, this is a field. What does it accept? It accepts only numbers. So we put that number, so it was good. We didn't put any special characters or any alphabets here. No, you are not allowed to put alphabets here. Why? Order quantity is not measured in alphabets. Quantity is measured in numbers. That's why it's called positive testing, right? Does it make sense? It's called positive testing because you put the numbers, and what is this? This is quantity. Quantity is measured in numbers, not in alphabets. Okay, so we did positive testing. Now, what is negative testing? Negative testing is something other than numbers. It can be special characters, it can be alphabets, okay? It can be integers. It still doesn't belong to -1, -2, -3. It doesn't belong to that quantity, okay, because our quantity cannot be negative. Okay, so that's the negative testing. Okay, now let's say third, boundary values. Boundary values is something like decimals, kind of decimals. You want to add like something 0.009. Now that's not a valid number, because again, you're not getting something like 0.009. You'll be getting 1 or none, not something which is decimal. Okay, so this kind of testing is called boundary testing. Okay. Any questions so far? So always remember, you need to do, make sure while I'm giving homework, make sure you guys do this 3 types of testing: positive testing, negative testing, boundary values. Also make sure the boundary values is good, what kind of result you are getting. And also make sure whenever you're trying to do this, do it in all browsers, not just Chrome. I'm showing you here Chrome. Do it in Chrome, do it in Firefox, do it in Safari. If you have Mac, that's good. Do it in Safari, okay. Do it in IE, Internet Explorer, maybe Microsoft Edge, So all this browser you need to do, because in real time too, you'll be doing this. Okay, you will be testing what? In all these browsers, you'll be testing. So, somebody asked a question, right? So here we are trying to order something, right? So we are not measuring something here, okay? we are not measuring any quantity here, like 1 kg or 2 kg, or 3 milligram, 4 milligram. We are not doing anything measuring here. We are trying to order quantity. Okay. Now, okay. So whenever you are trying to do this, you want to make sure it is in numbers. Okay. So whatever you're putting here should be in valid number. Okay. So that's what it is. So the kilogram thing, so you're measuring any quantities here. You're not measuring anything. You're ordering a quantity. Remember, okay? So if you're measuring, that's a different thing. So you're not measuring in this application here. Okay. That measuring thing is completely different application. Okay. So that works little different. Here, no, we are trying to order something. Okay. Yeah, somebody asked, right? What will be the homework? I'll be emailing the homework. So whoever email ID I've got, I'll be emailing them. If I didn't get any email ID, you'll not be getting homework. So make sure, okay, you send that email ID to me. Okay, just email me. Just make sure email me. Don't ping me in the chat. Okay. So because I need to write it down. If I misplace, then you'll not be getting homework anyway. Okay. So make sure you email me. Okay. So that was one defect, right? Everyone got that defect. Does anyone have any questions on this defect? What we did? Any questions? Okay. So let's see the second defect. Okay. Let's see. No, I'll be giving you 3. Okay. And there are many defects that you can find. Okay. And make sure don't just send me the same defects what I've told you in the class. See, I don't want that. I want you to be the creative to get the defects. Okay. I don't want same thing. Now you arguing that you showed me 3% then like putting the 1,000. Now I'm doing for glaciers and putting the 10,000. Okay, so I don't want such kind of things. Okay, make sure you need to have your own defects. If I say something for this, that means it's valid for all of this. Okay, so don't come up with the same scenario or the same thing for the different different item and saying that no, this is the different defect. No, that's the same defect. The developer will fix the same thing. You cannot open here 5 different things for what? Okay, you cannot just put 5 different defects. No, I've opened 5 defects. No, it's just a one defect you're showing up. Okay, so just make sure don't send me such kind of defects. Okay. So I didn't say anything 3 kinds of defects. So there is nothing like 3 kinds of defects. Okay, I'll be showing you 3 different defects to get an idea how to open a defect. Okay, so there is nothing like 3 kinds of defects. Okay, I'll be showing you 3 different defects to to make sure how do you get defect. Okay, so let's come to the second defect. Okay, now let me click on this 3% don't tell. So when I click on this has some information written here. Okay, in stock it has saying 23. If it says 23, then it has to be 23. Okay, you cannot order more than 23. Why? Because it's in stock 23. How can you order more than that? Right? Now let's put I'm adding 100. Now the page is actually going through. So this is the defect. Why it's a defect? Because in stock it's 23 and you're ordering for 100. Now whenever this item is shipped to the customer, it will be shipped only 23, because how can you get 100 quantity when you're ordering 23? There's no reason to get 100, right? Now, right? You cannot get 100 quantity when you have in stock 23. Now you have to wait. That is a backlog item. You have to wait for a lot of time. How much time we don't know. They are going to order it. No, we don't know. So now when the customer pays all the amount for 100 quantity and will get 23, and that is customer get furious, right? Because calls the customer care and the customer care doesn't respond. A lot of things happen. So that's not good. So in this business, again, loses. Okay, so that is a defect. Does it make sense? Does it make sense to everyone? You know what you're ordering here. You have star 23, but you're ordering 100, and still the page is going through. Let's see. Okay, so what happened is I paid for 100 quantity, but if I look at this, with the in stock it's only 23, so I'm not getting 100 here. So I paid for 100, and I got charged for 100, and customer will get get furious, right? It's just like, what happened? It's 23. Why am I getting only 23 when I ordered for 100? So that is a defect. Does it make sense? Okay, so let's move to the next one. So one more defect, I'll be showing this. Okay, and we'll close this class for today. Let's say, I'm just putting this. Okay, let's use a different browser. Let's use a different browser. We have tested in Chrome. That's good. You need to also check with Firefox, because different browser things are different. Application looks are different. If you can notice, the look for these applications are different. Okay, so here if you check here, this looks like this, and when you see from Firefox, this look is little different than there, and actually the functionality is also a little bit different. So let's not worry on that. Let's see what is the defect. So let's say I'm ordering like -1. Oh, that's good. Please enter only digits in this field. That's good. It's giving me an error, right? It's giving me an error. That's good. So now I use some quantity, some special characters, tilde-a, and it's nothing to do with that. This is not a quantity, right? Quantity is 1, 2, 3, not tilde-a. Okay. So now what I'm getting here is to be shipped, okay, and unit price is, and total price is 0, and I'm paying $5 for what? For nothing. So this is the defect. Okay, this is another defect. Here what you're trying to do is, you're trying to do a negative testing here. This is called negative testing. What we did before with all these numbers was, positive testing. Okay. Does it make sense? So that's what I said, right? 3 different defects. I told you 3 different defects. There are so many others. Oops. Okay. It's not this. Oh. Okay. So you need to check with all 3 buttons how they are performing. It's not just this. Also this button, how is performing, try this, images, try these buttons, try to find out defects. Okay, there's a lot of defects right in front of your face, right in front of your application, everything is there. Okay, you need to find out defects. Any questions so far? And make sure you don't give me the same defect what I told in the class. Okay, so from, I've been telling this like from ages, I'm telling these people and they keep giving me the same defects what I am telling in the class. So be creative, find out the issues. It's easy. Just you need to look around, look in the application, spend some time. You don't even require 1 hour. Just look at this, look some good defects, and that's it. Don't just okay now. No, you told 1,000 is this. Now I'm telling this. This is for hiking boots. I put 1,000. That's one more defect. No, all these are same. Okay, so if you cannot open 5 different. This is like 5 different, six different defects for just one issue here. Okay, you cannot do that. So don't give me the same thing what I told in the class. So this is all same. Okay. So you need to find out issues, maybe in the images, maybe in the buttons, what buttons are working, what buttons are not working. You need to check it out. Okay. Any questions? So I'll be emailing you only if I have your email ID. If I don't have your email ID, you will not be getting homework. Okay. If you want homework, send me your email ID so that I will email your homework. Okay. Any questions? So this is what you will be doing in your job. Okay. So this is called what? QA, functional testing. So mostly this includes functional testing. Not just one. You might do different things, but this is an example how we do. Okay. So again, to repeat that, send me an email, not to ping in the chat. Okay, that's what I mean. When I say send me an email, you need to send me an email, not to ping in the chat, because again, I will not, okay, so I'm writing this down. I'm not sure I will remember that, but as I told you, not to ping in my chat, ping, email me your email ID. Okay, just make sure you email. Okay, so, any questions? So if no one has any questions, can we close this class for today? So somebody asked a question, right? We will be able to get a site's link for testing? Yes, only if you send me an email, because I don't, I have emails, people, but at this time I got very less email ID. So, just, if you can able to send it, okay, I will able to send it, because this time, some reason, I didn't get one email ID. So I thinking like I was only, explaining to the one. So luckily you guys are there. So if you guys are interested, send me an email so that. Okay, so again, people who didn't listen, send me an email, not to ping in the chat. Okay. Okay. So any questions? Any questions? So can we close this class for today? If no questions. Okay. So yeah, somebody asked, right? So somebody asked, right? The Tagore's class, please check with the Tagore. You guys have number and phone number, right? Just make sure you guys call him and check the class, okay? Okay, thank you guys.